Welcome to Crypto Smasher. Here we do deep dives into all things crypto. If you want to stay informed of our content, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Full disclaimer, nothing in this video or other content on this channel is created as investment advice, only purely for informative purposes. A Redditor raised some interesting points in the form of a question addressed to Evergrow founder, Sam, concerning the delay in the launch of Crator. Let's begin. I still don't get how Crator went from being almost finished, just in need of finishing touches, to it's currently in beta and the beta has almost finished, to the launch of the 1,000-person beta has suddenly been delayed as it's not ready. If it was in beta for the whole of Q1 as we were told several times throughout Q1, then how was it suddenly not ready to simply take on 1,000 extra beta testers? There would be no logical reason for delaying that rollout if the platform had already been in a successful beta for 2 to 3 months as stated. Closed betas are for testing, error/bug finding, server/traffic stress testing, user feedback, etc. So making an excuse it's delayed because it's not finished makes no sense given that it wasn't a public launch and was only including more closed beta testers into a test which had already been said several times to have been running for months. I honestly can't see how we will get Crator before Q3 or even Q4 if the progress is as they say. Before anyone cries FUD, just think about the timeline. The present timeline. At present, Sam said all resources have been shifted to finishing the NFT marketplace first, then they'll move back to Crator. He also said before launching the NFT marketplace there will be several days to a week of tutorial videos on it being shared. Those tutorial videos haven't started being dropped yet, so at the earliest if they started rolling them out tomorrow then a few days will mean launch early next week at best. Though it wouldn't surprise me if it was the week after at this rate. Either way, that's at best mid-April before resources go back to Crator. Midway through Q2 timeline. Apparently Crator 1000 beta tester expansion was delayed due to not being ready and needing more work. Makes no sense due to what I've said above, but let's roll with it. Chances are it needs more than a week or two or work, otherwise they'd have just said it's delayed for a couple of days line like they have with the NFT marketplace. But let's be generous and say they somehow have it ready in 2 to 3 weeks, that brings us to the first or second week in May at best. We're now midway through Q2. Mid Q2, and that's only the start of a 1,000-person closed beta, with circa 6 weeks left of Q2. They'd need to also ramp up the amount of beta testers as 1,000 is insignificant for a platform with the vision of being a massive global service handling hundreds of thousands or users or more. If they added 1,000 a week for 4 weeks, that's still not a lot and would add an extra month. Any real beta usually then runs for months to collect meaningful data and feedback, that would be Q2 gone and into mid Q3. Even if they somehow finish the beta in 6 weeks, that would be Q3 start at best. Q3 timeline. After closed beta you don't go straight to launch. You need time to analyze the beta feedback, make changes, fixes, upgrades to servers, etc. That's several weeks of work at least, usually more for something the scale of what is being designed to be a massive global platform. Anyway, at best that means mid-late Q3 before that's done. Q1 2023. After that the next stage would be to go to public beta. At that point it could probably be classed as a launch under A and beta, early access label. But at this point we're at best in mid-late Q3, nearing Q4, and this is just public beta, not full launch. Needless to say that's a long way off Crator coming within weeks at the end of October, to launch in January, to full launch at end of Q1. You'd also expect a marketing campaign to run several weeks before that launch, at the end of Q3, start of Q4 probably not the best time to advertise as it'll get drowned out by Christmas. That could end up meaning putting the marketing campaign and launch into early Q1 2023. So with all that in mind, I'm curious as to everyone's thoughts regarding the timeline for Crator. Would be good if a mod/admin wouldn't mind forwarding this to Sam to ask about addressing and giving a clear layout for Crator's development timeline and real launch schedule. Not asking for him to say Crator is coming out on X date, just for him to go over the development phases and timeline involved to get to launching Crator. For example, how long the closed beta is intended to run for, how many people they expect to onboard during the closed beta and have by the end of it. What the plan is once the closed beta has ended and how he intends to transition to the public beta phase, etc. All of that would help investors to be able to work out realistic projections for the stages on the way to Crator's launch, so we're not left in the dark or hanging on to vague statements about Crator's launch date. That's the conclusion to the question raised by a Redditor for Sam. I hope you found it as insightful as I did. Many thanks for your time. See you in the next video.